อีก5 นาทีตี 3ต้องลงดันนี่ก่อนขาดสมุดทองไปเล่มหนึ่งแล้วยังไม่ได้ฟาร์มตังค์เลย แป๊บนะชาร์จไม่เข้าคือเราตั้งใจไว้แล้วล่ะว่าหลังจากจบเควสหลักบทที่4ฉากที่5เราคงไม่ไลฟ์ตอนทำเควสละแล้วก็ไม่ดองเควสไว้ไลฟ์ละเพราะว่าเราไม่ค่อยมีเวลาเล่นแบบเมื่อก่อนทำงานเยอะตรงนี้แล้วก็เหนื่อยนะและแอบขี้เกียจอะหลังจากนี้คงไปแบบช่วงนี้ผมก็ติดเล่น Killing Floor กับเพื่อนเด้อคือเกนชินเนี่ยแบบมันช่วงนี้มันก็ไม่ค่อยมีอะไรแล้วแล้วเราหมดไฟง่ายเข้าเกมมาก็ทำเควสผ่านเอซินแล้วก็ออกเกมไม่มีอะไรจริงๆต้องรีบแล้ว
Be not perturbed. I'm unscathed.
หมดละเลซินวันนี้ไลฟ์นี้อาจจะไม่ค่อยพูดเท่าไหร่นะ เพราะว่าไลฟ์ตอนดึกแล้วพูดดังนี่แบบโดนที่บ้านบ่น คือเราตั้งใจมาแอบเคลียร์เควสอีเวนต์จะหมดอาทิตย์หน้าเรายังไม่ได้เริ่มทำเลย ต้องปั่นรวดเดียวหรือเปล่าวะเนี่ยเควสหลักขนาดว่าเราพยายามสกิปเร็วๆแล้วก็ยังแบบใช้เวลาเป็นชั่วโมงแล้วมั้ง ยังไม่ได้เริ่มทำเลยคือเราว่าถ้าเราจะอ่านในเรื่องจริงเราคงไปอ่านสปอยตามกลุ่มหรือในช anel อื่นละเก็บไว้ไลฟ์ดูย้อนหลังไม่ไหวละสมุดดาบยักษ์นี่หมดไวจังว่าจะอัพสกิล E เต็มก่อนแล้วก็อันติค่อยอัพต้องฟาร์มอีกสัก2-3 สัปดาห์มั้งเพราะบอสวันเพิ่งมาใหม่ๆขาดแต่ตังค์มึงใช้ตังค์อัพตั้ง700,000เลยเดี๋ยวก่อนไปทำเควสเราต้องรอไอ้เควสประจำวันมันตีต่อตี 3อีก
This realm is true.
เดี๋ยวต้องลงรีไลน์บ่อยขึ้นหรือมั้ง
If you ever
ช่วงนี้แบบที่จริงมันเริ่ม หมดไฟแล้วนะตั้งแต่ AR ตันเนี่ย AR ตันแล้วมันแบบเข้าเกมมาผ่านเลซินฟาร์มอาร์ติแฟกต์ทำเพื่อประจำวันแล้วก็พอ แต่หลังๆอาร์ติแฟกต์ก็เริ่มขี้เกียจฟาร์มแล้วพวกตัวละครที่แบบ มีอาร์ติแฟกต์ใช้งานได้มันก็มีหลายตัวมากๆแล้วก็ไม่รู้จะฟาร์มไปใครละแม้แต่ฟาร์มรอตัวละครก็แบบขี้เกียจเลย เอาอาร์ติแฟกต์เหลือๆมายัดถ้ากรณีได้ตัวละครใหม่มานะตีสามละวันนี้เสียงก็แหบๆหน่อย พยายามพูดเบาๆด้วยไม่งั้นเดี๋ยวโดนที่บ้านด่าว่าคนจะนอนมึงจะมาไล่อะไรตอนตีสาม สำรวจแมปเรายังไปไม่ถึงไหนเลยเนี่ยดันบอสวางนี่ไม่คือ100%หมดแล้วนะยกเว้นแมป 4.2 ที่ยังไม่ร้อย ขี้เกียจมากช่วงนี้อันนี้บอลลูนยิงลูกโป่งตัวธนูมา1 ตัว
Who ate a poisonous mushroom this time? Rah!
พี่ติ๊กใช้ทำเควสนี้ดีเว้ย เอาติ๊กนาลีมาทำเควสนี้ยอดเยี่ยม
The pleasure is all mine.
แล้วเควสอื่น ถ้าไม่เจอมอนธาตุน้ำก็เอานูวิเลตเคลียร์เอา โอ้ชิบหายเปลี่ยนธาตุด่วน มอนธาตุน้ำอีก
Let's go out and play.
มีตัวละครใช้งานเยอะกับทำอาร์ติแฟกต์ให้ตัวละครใส่หลายๆตัวมันก็ดี อยากหยิบตัวไหนมาก็แค่เอาเข้าทีมจบเลยไม่ต้องสลับ คือทั้งไอดีเราเนี่ย เรามีแค่ชาร์ลอตกับฟูลีน่าที่ความประทับใจไม่เต็ม10แค่นั้นแหละ
Thank you for permit.
ก็คือเราฟูลีน่ากับชาร์ลอตเข้าทีมเก็บความประทับใจแล้วก็ให้อีก2 ตัวแบก ให้อีก2 ตัวในทีมเป็นโอนแบก อันนี้มันนะถ้ำที่เราผ่านเควสนั่นมานี่หว่าเควสโลก 4.0 หรือ 4.1 นี่แหละมั้งอ๋อ 4.0 จำได้ละ เราจะไปอยากรู้ทำไมวะเนี่ย โอ้อยากไม่เราไม่ได้พร้อมสู้ไอ้ตัวนี้ ต้องฟาร์มตังค์แล้ว เอาไปอัพที่อาร์ติแฟกต์มีตังค์หมดทุกที
Let the mighty be humble.
I swear by my sword.
เพิ่มสแต็กแฟนไฟล์
the wrong test subject.
ซัมมอนยิงทีเกือบ30,000นี่ถ้าเราอัพเต็มนี่เกิน30,000สบายเลยนะ40ดาบเฟสเตอร์ลิงขาดตั้งอีกบ้านเลยมงเหลือเป็น10ไม่รู้จะไปยัดตัวไหนแล้วเนี่ย ให้ตายเลยเล่นทุกอีเวนต์มันก็ดีนะ มีมงกุฎครอบครองเยอะๆแล้วก็ได้รับพรสวรรค์เวล10หลายๆตัว แต่หลังๆรู้สึกว่าไม่รู้จะอัพตัวไหนละ ไม่รู้ตัวไหนคุ้มต่อการลงมงมั้งแต่จริงๆถ้าเกมนี้สามารถอัพพรสวรรค์เต็มเลยไม่ใช่มงกุฎนี้คงอัพเต็มทุกตัวไปแล้วอันนี้ต้องมาเลือกแล้วเลือกอีกว่าจะลงมงตัวไหนยังไม่ได้เริ่มเควสเลยเอาจริงๆนะตอนนี้ตั้งแต่ผมได้ฟูริน่ามาผมเริ่มวางแผนไม่ถูกแล้วว่าจะเปิดตัวไหนต่อคิดว่าคงนาเวียมั้งแล้วก็ลินนี่รอลินนี่เลยละแล้วเริ่มขี้เกียจเปิดตัวใหม่ๆแล้วแต่ก็ไม่รู้นะอนาคตเราก็เดาไม่ได้มันจะมีตัวอื่นๆที่อยากได้มาดักอีกหรือเปล่าแต่เห็นเกมเพลย์นาเวียแล้วแบบอยากได้ตัวละครนี้มากเลยมีอาร์ติแฟกต์พร้อมเล่นแล้วเอาไว้เล่นกับฟูรินะรอแค่เปิดได้ตัวมาก็คือมีอาร์ติแฟกต์พร้อมอัพเลเวลกับพรสวรรค์ก็เต็มที่หายเอกสารต้องมีอะไรแถวนี้ป่ะ
Another test subject.
Mining, echoing song! Barbados, guide us.
Becomes the hunted.
ถ้าเราทำลายถังแถวนี้หมดมันจะได้อะไรเปล่าวะหมดแล้วมั้ง หมดแล้ว4 เควสรู้สึกว่าชื่อเสียงเมืองเราเวล9แล้วเราครับเข็มทิศหากล่อง
Add
ได้แล้ว
astro. Thank you for comp.
ยังไม่ได้ครับเข็มทิศหากล่องเลยโอเคเข็มทิศมาแล้วมีกล่องซ่อนอยู่ตรงนี้
What a pleasant surprise.
ดีงามกล่องอยู่ใกล้ๆตรงนี้เราก็ไม่ได้สังเกตสงสัยต้องเอาเข็มทิศฮะมัน100%ทิปนี่หว่า หลอกว่า100%แต่จริงๆก็ยังมีกล่องเหลืออยู่เนี่ยนะหากล่องแถวนี้สักหน่อยเดี๋ยว160เปิดสักโลคำๆแล้วอ๋อไปนู่นเลยวะเอาละไม่ได้ทำเควสหลักแล้วแม่ง เดินหาสมบัติ
Take a guess. Look away.
เหมือนมันให้เราตรงไปอ๋อนี่ไงเจอละ
I hope the others find some.
เชี่ยคาบเข็มทิศมาแล้วดีเลย โอ้โหบนนั้นเลยเหรอต้องแอบมาเคลียร์ทีหลังแล้ว ไม่ใช่ว่าอยู่ข้างบนนี่นะยังไม่ได้เก็บอีกหลายกล่องเลยเนี่ยน่าจะอยู่แถวนี้มั้งอ๋อนึกออกละ อ๋ออยู่บนนี้ อยู่สูงเลย เชี่ยนี่ไม่มีเข็มทิศนี่เราคงหากันวุ่นแล้วโอ้แล้วพลาดไปหลายจุดเลยสงสัยต้องมาเก็บนอกไลฟ์แล้ว159ดีงาม อยู่ข้างล่าง โอ้โห กล่องอยู่ซะขนาดนี้
What a pleasant
Ooh.
surprise.
109,000เลยเว้ย มันต้องมีกล่องซ่อนอยู่แถวนี้แหละ โอ้โหอยู่ข้างล่างอีก ไม่ใช่ว่าอยู่ใต้ดินนะ มันแอบจะอยู่ใต้ดินหรือเมื่อในพุ่มไม้นะ อยู่ใต้ดินชัวร์ พอนึกออกละว่าอยู่แถวไหนแน่ใต้ดินเนี่ยแหละเรายังสำรวจไม่หมดแล้วเนี่ย อ๋อ น่าจะอยู่บนท่อ ขึ้นไปไงวะเนี่ย นี่แน่เลย ขาดไป1 เจมเพื่อเปิดกล่องเปิดกาชา1 โล โอ้นี่ตังค์ เอาละมุดมาบินเนี่ย
What do you want from me?
อ๋อเชี่ยละมุดใช้สำรวจดีวะ อ๋อบนนั้นเลยอะ 4 ดาวล่าสุดได้ชิโนบุ63 โลนับจากฟูรีน่าน่าจะหมดแล้วมั้งแถวนี้ เฮ้ยยังมีเหรอ อ๋อ น่าจะข้างบน ใต้ดินเราน่าจะเก็บหมดละ สวัสดีครับผม ช่วงนี้ก็ไม่ค่อยมีเวลาเล่นละ ก็เควสหลักยังดองไว้อยู่เลย มาดึกอะวันนี้ จะทิ้งเกมจีแล้ว ช่วงนี้ผมหลักๆก็เล่น Killing Floor กับเพื่อนบ่อย แล้วก็บางทีก็ไปเล่นวาโล แต่ช่วงนี้วาโลก็หมดอารมณ์เล่นเหมือนกัน วาโลหมดอารมณ์เวลาแบบเข้าเกมมาแล้ว สกินที่อยากได้มันไม่เข้าร้าน ออกเกม เควสหลักยังดองไว้เลยเนี่ย ไม่ได้ทำสักทีว่าจะแอบมาเคลียร์เควสแต่ว่า เมื่อกี้แบบเจมมันขาดที่จะเปิดกาชาเลย ไปเปิดกล่องก่อน ใช่ หลายๆช่องที่ผมตามอย่างช่องฮูกฮัก หรือเจ๊ปลาทองหลักๆก็แบบเน้นสตาร์เร็วบ่อยนะ
Too slow.
และขนาดเราเองก็ช่วงนี้ก็ทำงานแล้วไม่ค่อยมีเวลาเล่นอะ ก็ยังดองอะไรวะบทที่ 4 ฉากที่ 5 แล้วยังไงดี โอ้ ไปอิมแล้วขี้เกียจสู้ต่อไม่ไหว พี่สัสโอ้วานลงผมแค่ซินเวอร์เองเดี๋ยวเราต้องไปตรงไหนวะเนี่ยโซนบริหารโอเค แล้วช่วงนี้เพื่อนในดิสชอบชวนไปเล่น Killing Floor ก็เลยติด Killing Floor
Following me. Too slow.
หลังจากที่ไม่ได้เล่น Killing Floor มาประมาณ Killing Floor 2 ก็ประมาณ 3 ปีได้มั้ง เลยโหลดเกมมาลงใหม่เลย
Quit following me.
อันนี้เกนชินผมคิดว่าอาจจะเปิดอีกสักตัว 2 ตัวแหละ แล้วก็ไม่รู้จะเปิดอะไรต่อละ อยากได้นาเวีย แล้วก็รอลินนี่รีรัน ได้ฟูรีน่ามาก็เริ่มแบบ ก็ไม่รู้จะฟาร์มอาร์ติแฟกต์ให้ใคร หรือแกอาร์ติแฟกต์ตัวไหนละ
The pleasure is all mine.
ช่วงที่เสียเงินหนักที่สุดตอนนี้น่าจะเป็นตอนเปิดหาอาวุธโดนไป3 ทองเลยเดี๋ยวพยายามสกิปเควสรัวๆละ
Wait a sec. Oh, today.
สกิปรัวๆน่าจะเป็นชั่วโมงไงเลย อีเวนต์ก็ใกล้จะหมดแล้วหมดอาทิตย์หน้ามั้งยังไม่ได้เริ่มทำเลย เหลือ4 วันโอ้ฮะ4 วัน 23 ชั่วโมง ก็5 วันสุดท้ายอะรีบปั่นทีเดียวไปเลย ที่จริงมันสามารถเริ่มทันทีได้ แต่ผมอยากทำเควสได้จบมัน ก็แบบไล่เคลียร์ไปทีละอย่าง ตั้งแต่ 4.0 มาก็ทิ้งยาวเลยเกนชินนะ
Please sign here. This document will be effective in.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. What?
What's happening?
ก็จริงไง
I'm fine.
Let's go ask the Duke.
ไม่ได้ฟูลีน่าก็ไม่อยากเล่นละ ของผมนี่ก็ไม่รู้ว่าผมจะเริ่มเบื่อตั้งแต่แบบรอเปิดนาเวียหรือเปล่านะ อันนี้คือก็ภาวนาว่าเมื่อไหร่มันจะหมดแผนสักทีอยากรีบเปิดนาเวียละ ตัวละครเก่ารีรันผมก็อยากได้อยู่ได้แค่ลินนี่มั้งลินนี่ไม่ก็วิโรจน์แหละมีอาร์ติแฟกต์4 ฮันเตอร์ฟาร์มไว้พร้อมแล้วแล้วก็ไม่รู้จะทำอะไรต่ออาร์ติแฟกต์ฟาร์มไปก็เกลืออย่างเดียวช่วงนี้ ขี้เกียจแก้แล้วด้วย
Ah, good to see you.
Yeah, what was with that earthquake?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I have developed a sense for distinguishing
Man, kok skip
between
lo
what
lo, may
occurs
dai
on
du
the surface and what occurs.
So the fort.
If you recall,
บางทีเราต้องรอตัวละครมันเคลื่อนไหว
I...
Wait, seriously?
Ah,
Yep. It's you two. That's right. Today is our last day in prison. But oh yeah. Then be.
if you've signed the release papers,
อเล็ก
then
ชิโน่
you're
กับ
free
กา
to
วัง
go.
วนก็
You're
น่า
not
สน
going
ดี
to see.
I knew you.
Well, you actually.
Ah, so you...
After being down here for so long. Yeah, don't worry.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best. Well, it seems our work in the fort. We should probably. You're going to see Monsieur Nervillette?
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe it would be the polite thing to do.
You're right. I've heard the Palais has been terribly busy these days. Tell him that I hope he hasn't been overwhelmed by the recent string of troubles.
เอาจริงๆก็ไล่เก็บทุกตัวไม่ไหว ไล่เก็บทุกตัวแล้วก็ไล่ฟาร์มอาร์ติแฟกต์ทุกตัวก็ไม่ไหว ฟาร์มอาร์ติแฟกต์ทำอาวุธยุ่งเหยิงยิบเป่งเลยอาวุธก็ล้นคลัง เริ่มขี้เกียจไปหมดเลย อเล็กชิโน่นี่ก็ผมก็รอดูว่าเกมเพลย์มันจะมาเป็นยังไงนะ ถ้าเป็นซับอีดีพีเอสเนี่ย ขอทำมาโหดกว่าเสียงหลิงหน่อยจะดีมาก เบื่อหน้าเสียงหลิงละ แต่ปกติพวกฟาทุยส่วนใหญ่เป็นเมนดีพีเอสมั้ง ไม่รู้สิ มันอนาคตเราเดาไม่ได้
Activity today.
Halt!
Oh, it's.
Excuse me.
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got
หวังแบบนั้นนะ
busy.
เสียงหลิงกับเบนเน็ตนี่แบบอยู่มาหลายแพทมากเลย
Hello. In the meantime, please have a.
That's all right.
Very well.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to.
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting.
ทำไมอยู่ดีๆผมนึกถึงไอ้ตัวชีฟรูสที่ว่าจะมาคู่กับนาเวีย ตัวหอกไฟสีดาวใหม่ ไอ้ตัวนั้นมันดันแบบฟิกเล่นกับโอเวอร์โหลด
Today should be the.
That's right.
ถ้ามาเป็นแบบนั้นก็แย่หน่อย หรือแบบ
Do you have
กลัว
any
แบบ
idea what
บัง
that
คับ
might
เล่นเบอร์เจียน
Judging from
อันนั้นก็
your
แย่
wail of that,
immersed in primordial seawater? But
most people wouldn't be capable of. Yes.
ซิม
What
ตั้
is
งแต่
it?
PVC ยอล่า
we asked the Duke
It turns out that I'm the source of the.
the water level.
Fortunately, if the change in water.
Navia should be in Poisson, right?
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first.
There's no time to lose. Let's get going.
Please be careful.
คือแบบ ถ้าจะทำตัวละครมาไอทางโฮโยนะ จะทำมาดีมันก็ดีไปเลย แต่ทำมาแย่ก็แย่ชิบหายไปเลยแบบเดียอย่างงี้ อันนี้ก็ไม่ไหวเหมือนกัน เบอร์เจียนน่าสนใจมาก
What shall we do?
ถ้าสมมติว่าอเล็กชิโนมาเน้นเบอร์เจียนนะ เราว่าเราคงย้ายแฟกโทมาใส่ทางเซต เดย่านี่โกรธจริง ซิมมากๆ แต่ออกแบบสกิลให้โคตรกำหมัด ไม่ไหวจริง คือจริงๆ ตอน 3.5 ผมก็อยากได้เดย่านะ แต่ว่าพอเห็นสกิลแล้วแบบ โอ้ยไม่เปิดก็ได้วะ และอยากคือพอมาเห็นว่ามันแบบหมด 3.5 แล้วเจ้าลงตู้ถาวรอีกก็ โอ้ย งั้นเราไม่เปิดไม่พอ รอหลุดเลทมาจากตู้ไหนสักตู้ก็ได้วะ รอหลุดเลทมันก็ตู้ถาวร แต่ก็ไม่หลุดได้นางสักทีอะตัวหลุดเลทที่ได้ล่าสุดก็คือติกนาริแล้วก็ตัวเดิมๆ แต่ว่าผมก็มีอาร์ติแฟกต์กับอาวุธรอนะ ว่าถ้าหลุดเลทมาก็คือเอาอาร์ติแฟกต์เหลือๆไปยัด แล้วก็แค่อัพเลเวลกับพรสวรรค์ก็พร้อมเล่นเลย
Oh no. What? Navia should be around here.
คือจะว่าไปนะ ช่วงเนี้ยผมเปิดแบบว่า 5 ดาวล่าสุดได้ฟูลีน่าเนอะตอนนี้ผมเพิ่งเปิดไป 63 โล เมื่อกี้บวกไป1 โลแล้วฟูลีน่า แล้วก็นูวิเลตแล้วไปไกลสุด มัน6 เดือนเนี่ยเอาเฮทัมเนี่ย เอาเฮทัมเลยไปละ แต่จำได้ว่าได้เซียวมั้งได้เซียวเอาเฮทัมนูวิเลตแล้วก็ฟูลิน่า ไม่หลุดมา4 ตู้ติดแล้วแหละ แต่ตอนเปิดเซียวหลุดเลทติกนารีมารอบหนึ่ง
Watch your balance.
เปิดตู้เซโนไปฟังๆเผื่อจะได้เจ็ดที่มีให้ไป
I'm not young.
He looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have happened?
Just hang in there.
ว้าเควสน่าจะยาวเลย เพิ่งเริ่มเอง แต่ชอบเรือที่นี่จริงวะผมยังไม่หลุดได้เดียเลย
She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a.
Yes.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to...
He's wounded?
He fell, so it's probably a broken...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take...
Understood.
All right.
ถ้าหลุดก็ขอตัวดีๆนะใช่
Right. A little earlier, we suddenly... The rushing water seemed everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water. Those who realized the Spinadero Sula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible. But the water that... No one knows if this could happen again.
How awful.
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish that everything that just happened was a bad dream.
ถ้าหลุดอยากได้กลุ่มดาวจีนโมนาติก
Is there any way we can help Navia?
Thank you.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here.
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And she go.
Okay. The wounded are of course, traveler.
Huh? Right now?
Thank you.
achievement มาแล้ว ปั่นไปเรื่อยๆ อ้ออยู่บนดิน ไม่ค่อยได้ใช้เลยตัวพวกนั้นนะจะว่าไปผมก็แอบใช้ อยากได้จีนซี เอาไปเล่นกับดีเฟสลม แล้วติ๊ก40อยู่เลย แต่ถ้าได้ C1 มานี่ชาร์จโจมตี เพิ่มขีชาร์จโจมตี ส่วนโมนาก็ ถ้าตีมอนที่อยู่ในสภาวะโอเมน เพิ่มขี้เลท 15% เอาไปเล่นกับฮูเตากับเยหลานเนี้ยโหดเลย ขี้เลทเพิ่ม ขาดอีกตัวเดียว โมนาหลังๆผมเอาไปเล่นแค่กับฮูเตาเองมั้ง เย่หลานโมนาฮูเตาแล้วปู่แค่นั้น ไม่ค่อยได้เอาโมนาไปใส่ตี้อื่นเท่าไหร่เลย คือเอาไปเล่นกับฮูเตาแล้วก็ใส่โมนาใส่โฟโตไทแอมเบอร์อย่างเงี้ย แต่มันทำได้ดีกว่าใช่ จีนหลังๆผมเอาไปเล่นกับ
A
ฟู
lot
ริ
of
นะ
people here, huh?
Well, given the time of.
Right. That's
Navia? Navia, what's.
sorry. I just Maloose and Silver. They won't
อ๋อ
ever come
เควส
back
เศร้า
here
เลย
again. What?
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but Still, I was the one who initiated it.
โอ้ยกู้ภัย สมาชิกตาย
They were helping evacuate the residents, but and I've known them for so I could at least hold a funeral for my father, and I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just
ไม่มีปูลีน่าก็จะแย่หน่อย ใช่ มันฮิวหมู
Everything
ทั้ง
looks
ตี
so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect.
I can understand.
see, it's not just
How could yet the simple?
Buying yourself a plot
Bye-bye,
in
Kapom.
advance, Art.
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus.
hey.
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father's grave.
That makes sense.
After all, besides you, demoiselle, the two
Personally,
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. But I'd really
Bye-bye.
prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip?
มีสอบบ่ายก็ขอให้โชคดีกับการสอบแล้ว
I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess.
Paimon doesn't know.
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come. Loose and Silver have helped me. I'm so...
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. Whew.
Thank you. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obana, Khan.
โอเค ไม่ใช่เบนเน็ต
So,
It's okay. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
right. Don't. Malus and Silver were not the price for seeing.
You're right. What you said just now was...
Oh,
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
อ้าวเจออะไรคิโออีก
the knave?
Ah, is everything going...
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been As for these supplies, we have
Thank you.
Wait. Do you?
We just met recently.
Usually, thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received...
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on.
I apologize. My subordinates have reported that Fatui sold...
This is nothing to brag about, nor, as I've told this traveler before, I know lending your organization a hand.
Without your help, there would have...
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. As Paimon said, I've never...
You're right. Water is
So, you're one...
Of course.
รีบปั่นยา
By
ว
the way, traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
All right, then we'll just.
That is a clever and useful conversation to traveler. I'm sure you remember. You and I both know that there may be issues with the primordial sea. Previously, it was the Indeed. Allow me. During some recent investigation, judging by the dating of my people initially came.
So,
I wanted to take. Linny told me, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family. But Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. I'm sure you.
Oh,
The intel I just.
got it. So,
excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join?
but are you sure you're up to exploring?
Well, I'm sad, yes. There's no point in being depressed while we... Besides, I...
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right.
Okay, let's do.
ๆมีโบราณสถานอีกนี่เราพยายามสกิปไวๆนะ แต่เควสน่าจะแอบยาวอยู่เป็นอาร์คอนเควสอะเอาตีนี้มา
I'll lead
สำร
the
วจ
way.
แถวนี้เราสำรวจยังวะน่าจะยัง
They seem to just be.
แนะนำธาตุเลยมั้งไม่มีโดเมนเฉยๆมั้งแต่ก็นะหลายคนก็ทิ้งเควสไปเลยอะทิ้งเกนชินไป 4.0 ไม่ได้ฟูลีนาก็ไม่อยากเล่นรอรีรันก็ฟูลีนาเราก็รอเปิดแนวเดียว
One with the force. I hear everything. Rah. Sia.
ติกนารีแม่งแรงจริง
Watch it! The floor here isn't safe!
Order guide you.
นี่เรายังพลาดอะไรไปอีก
This place has also been contaminated.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment they fell in.
ถ้าเป็นชาวฟอนเทนคงละลายตกไปเนี่ย
You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be any help. Don't get Paimon wrong.
No, you're right. I can't do. That complicates things.
In that case,
The water levels here are unstable. I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit.
all right.
นาเวียลงไปคงละลายอะ
Oh no, it's a dead end. Let's try climbing over from the side.
คือเราสมมติว่าเรามีนาเวียอยู่ด้วย ถ้าลงไปในน้ำเราก็ต้องเริ่มใหม่
Wait, there's something wrong with this bridge.
เอ้าหัวสะพาน ไม่ นาเวียจะละลายไปเลย
Do Demoiselle? Huh? Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark if I hadn't...
Maybe she just wants...
Yes, it would appear so.
That's quite possible.
Oh, right. This is a familiar...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no, I was just trying to recall...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny?
We were headed to see how things were...
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How...
I've been great. Thanks. They were knocking at my door day and night.
Sometimes for...
Oh, yes. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have done.
Did you call...
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for...
Very well.
Wait. Excuse me, madam.
That's right.
No, it's nothing. I've heard this name before. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle. We still have important...
We do?
Well, now, did you...
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please.
My trial?
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just...
Oh?
เอ้าย้อนอดีตมาเหรอ
Look, it's Navia!
And her two attendants are with her. Goodness. Everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be Ocarina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. Why are so... And as for the judge... huh?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall come...
All right. But...
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have
Enough with the whispering!
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've... As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates...
Wait a minute.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And we are one big family. All of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. And with you being so important, therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us forever.
Huh? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my hometown.
Ah, well...
How wonderful!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She...
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but not...
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master Callus couldn't...
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. Please do not mistake her actions as...
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. Now, I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay. We and Navia...
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance to... Have you forgotten how much you all once...
Do you mean to defy Justice?
หลอนชิบเป่ง
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver, and that is how we will enforce justice.
My head,
Demoiselle,
Silver, it hurts. I remember now. Everything that seemed odd from the very beginning. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malouse and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
don't be afraid. And don't admit guilt. We will protect.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia.
Mr. Malouse and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
เฮ้ยโอเชียนิดมาอย่างหลอนเลยเว้ย
What are you saying? No more excuses.
She says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent?
What's with these people?
Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us.
Miss Navia.
Silence.
เอานูวิเลตมา
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place.
Malouse.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that.
Malouse, Silver.
Quickly, you must come now.
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
โอ้ยเศร้าเหลือเกิน สุดว่านาเวียไม่ละลายไปกับน้ำบรรพากาศ
No, wait! Just a second!
Hey, Navia?
You're awake. Good.
นูวิเลตช่วยไว้นี่แหละ
I must have been dreaming. Malouse and Silver were still alive, and they...
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within, but I...
ต่อให้แค่พริบตาเดียวคุณก็คงละลายไปกับน้ำแล้ว
I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you.
ฉันคล้ายกับมองเห็นโอเชียนนิดสองตนเมลูดกับซิลเวอร์คว้าตัวและปกป้องคุณออกไปเป็นระยะเวลาสั้น
Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
ๆคนที่ละลายจะกลายเป็นโอเชียนนิด
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people you saw in your...
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with...
โอ้ย
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am...
Why do you look so stiff? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who's...
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh?
I suppose... Ah, Sigewin. I hope all is well with her these...
No way, don't worry. She's...
I see. Well, that is good.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately.
he still doesn't... So, Neuvillette. This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, amid my astonishment, I ran into the nave.
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you.
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one's going to the party! Let's get going then!
Let's nip that in the bud.
Oh no, another unstable path. Watch your step.
อ้าวล่วงอ้าวเราจะไปไงวะเนี่ยอ้าว หล่นอีก
Illusion shattered.
Gather! This is order.
Watch out! There are rocks falling over here! It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Shine down.
Stabilize.
Hey! Make yourselves at home!
One with the force. I hear everything.
Now you shall perish. Ha!
แถวนี้ไม่มีกล่องอะ
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden...
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems...
Perhaps we should just leave them.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty...
The surrounding walls also shows...
There's something written below. Let Paimon see.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose.
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy.
There's there's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated.
And is that Lady Farina in the third image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring?
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
ทุกคนจะละลายหายไปในท้องทะเลเหลือเพียงเทพแห่งน้ำที่ร้องไห้อยู่บนบัลลังก์
More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Ooh, the Paimon's getting the chills just look. This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really...
Still.
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image might...
Egeria, then. I had never met her. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies.
Did she herself commit that sin? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all.
But who would have created...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
หาเบาะแส
In
จาก
that
ฟู
case,
นีนะ
there's no time to lose.
Yeah, we'd better get somewhere safe for now.
ตอนแรกว่าจะปั่นเควสอีเวนต์ในไลฟ์นี้ด้วย แต่ว่าเราว่าทำเควสหลักจบก็พอแล้วมั้งเนี่ย เริ่มขี้เกียจละ
Let's split up here. I'm go...
You still have energy for that, Navia? Paimon's already beat.
เราเขาไม่ทำเควสอีเวนต์ในไลฟ์แล้ว รู้สึกไม่ไหวจริงๆ เดี๋ยว
Just
ต้อง
head
แปล
back to the...
I'll
รีบ
depart
ปั่น
as
นอกไล
well.
ฟ์
Thanks for your hard work. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about the stone slates.
เพราะคราวก่อนอีเวนต์เราก็ไม่ได้ทำตอนไลฟ์นะเราก็ทำนอกไลฟ์เอา
I'm sure that you're
อี
concerned
เวน
about
ต์ก็
this
จะหมด
matter
แล้ว
as
แต่ต้อง
well.
รีบปั่นให้ได้
If you have time, drop by my office. I will share the result.
Are you really gonna...
She has long been harboring secrets and will not give them up.
Alright.
I will be...
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house...
We're finally back.
Welcome back.
Yay! And there's good food. Ooh. Paimon's already starting to...
Oh, that voice.
เอ้าโม
Is
นา
that who I...
Huh?
โมนามาไง
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
เอ้าโมนามาไง
Seriously, nobody just uses a...
Still, we didn't expect to see you...
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadt sir? Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. There was nothing for it, really. Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames.
Wow!
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well. Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
ชื่อโคตรยาวเลย
Whoa, that's...
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, these.
Thrice as great?
I know, right? just how she is.
Talk about excess.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into it further.
That sounds terrible. But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona? You're from
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dorman Port.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that there's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the invitation was sent quite early on.
What do you make of that, Prophet?
What I can tell you, I'm afraid that but on the flip side...
A visionary?
Of course. The old hag could do it. And I bet there are other...
Thanks, Mona.
Oh, well...
That's the greatest of astrology!
Indeed!
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now. If I receive any...
โมนามาที่นี่
And
เลย
there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy. If Paimon hadn't spoken for you... that's more luck.
ชั่วโมงหนึ่งแล้วนะที่เราทำเควส
To be honest, Paimon's still feeling. But it's time to get up.
achievement นาเวียรอดชีวิตจากน้ำทะเลวันประการ เดี๋ยวค่อยมาเก็บกล่องกันนะ
You're here! Monsieur Dearvalette and Lady Farina...
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not?
Focalor.
Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson.
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't... But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if...
I don't.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once...
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but...
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters.
ส่งกองกำลังต่างๆเพื่อแอบสำรวจตรวจสอบบางอย่างอยู่
There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as you have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be. Nor...
watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working.
There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's...
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder...
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you know...
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the big... Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions.
We will need to consider this thoroughly. Join forces... If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but... This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The But who will lend...
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most...
That's what families should do. Sit and enjoy.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a...
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, this...
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Colin.
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has... As for what that is, well... let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh?
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just...
Huh? Didn't you say that you...
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to...
I see. And...
He is glad that you consider him...
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were...
I've also gone diving to catch some fish.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, though that was their name, they did not hunt animals. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly. A trap comprises of the following So, if we were to build...
For me, I would prefer something... Our line of work requires...
You use some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson.
Yes, and I even managed...
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable...
Calm and steady. Exactly the...
And I can be their assistant.
Lynette.
With discretion.
I remember that you liked those too.
I did.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. But I do have one more question. If we were to create a trap now...
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intent... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, That also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait.
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it.
So...
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so...
หาเรื่องให้ปูลีน่าสารภาพให้ได้อยู่ใต้ดินอีกแล้ว
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon... it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable... did you just... what's that? Paimon's never seen that couple...
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea.
Who's...
Aw.
Wait. You are familiar.
The voice from the sky, Huh. You're feeling lost now. Consider me a passerby. Just...
อาจารย์ของโมนา
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything into that? Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods. Could things be happening in hidden corners where the god's gaze does not fall?
ตอนฟังเสียงนี้ครั้งแรกนึกว่าเสียงยาเอ๋นั่นแหละแต่ไม่ใช่
Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the
What is she...
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter... This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality.
The voice.
แม่หมดเอ็นเวิร์ดเปล่าไม่ใช่ละ
Hey, it's you.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively band.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. Not all fun.
Did she...
Why, yes. It was I'm in full support of her view.
That's right.
Yes. About what we... Huh? Goodness gracious.
She said that even the god's gaze has...
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. But I've never met her.
Whoa. The Hexen...
Their abilities alone.
Well, it's not like Paimon...
Yes, she was quite... Perhaps it is some... Traveler.
Oh, we're...
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has... But even so, perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. No, I did originally think of steering...
You do have a point.
There, it was worth trying to come, I suppose. That...
โมนามาคุยแป๊บเดียวแล้วไฟ
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to...
โอเคอยู่บนดินละ
hold the fortress. My recent attempts thus didn't. So while the fort journalist Charlotte's big, Charlotte took. She hasn't been able to get a hold of any. Seriously? Well. We're here.
หิวสั่นแล้ว
Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake!
เค้กที่ขายจำกัดแค่วันละ16 ชิ้น
It was so delicious the last time we tried it, despite the tense.
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It's.
Wait, did he really say?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon?
But why would.
Well,
Oh, the prophecy. No. It's the same for eating in general.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making.
Oh, you know
I sure do. She said that I've got something else to do, so I'll.
เมลูซีนน่ารัก
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. It's more delicious than last time. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious.
เค้กที่ผลิตวันละไม่กี่ชิ้น เข้ามาแดกเค้กนี่นะ
Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You got some.
Oh, you needn't worry about that. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount.
Really?
You're almost.
Oh, Paimon.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
บลอนด์คิริโตะ
When Mona mentioned.
So she mentioned me?
She said that you're a real. Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the. Ooh, so much to get done now.
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example.
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. So, in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. But anyway, that's.
ชาร์ลอต
That's. So, anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty. Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tibet. No, Paimon should. We've always been moving to the next destination. You mean still travel? Huh.
ยังไม่จบอีก
Feels like killed grown, but it's still better than the 14.
So the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillat sent me to look for you two before. Not at all. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy and before she could respond, others started. The crowd continued to grow and protest against the Hydra.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina.
I agree.
So what happened after that?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was, the Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized.
So, you mean—
That's right. The Maréchaussée has That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. Good. Monsieur—
Don't worry, this is—
Is that so?
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know— And, as we also know, she may be when Nervalet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, it would be hard for her to ignore being— Paimon thinks Farina's— Huh! Well, what do you think? In that case, there's none—
ยังไม่จบ
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Ừ. มันให้เราจบบทที่ 4 ฉากที่ 5
That's Farina, right over there.
Should what was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just a— Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble? They even dare to tout their art. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom are freaking out right next to them too.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? That's against the rules.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her.
ยังจะทำซื้อนิก
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here.
What?
Hurry, they're almost—
Fine. I suppose haste is war.
เล่นซ่อนแอบกันอยู่ อะไรของเขาเนี่ย
No, I mean, I I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they display.
Yep, that's a good...
What's happening?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the...
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Never...
Yeah, I bet the people... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds. I once had informants all over Teyvat. Sir, I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea, but all my efforts proved to be futile, and we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way. Give up. I do love the sound indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It happened just now. It all, as long as the final moment hasn't come. Don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but don't take any of what I just said seriously.
Come on! Paimon could...
ไม่ต้องแบกรับแล้ว
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. And if Teyvat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage...
ติดกับแล้ว ยกบ้านมาเลย
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance.
ลินนี่แม่งร้าย
Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not...
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
เอาดาบไปลอนสติงด้วย
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again.
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in. But now, it is time for the Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is, mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. Woohoo! Oh, now we're making.
พูดมากชิบเป่งเลย
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic.
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates.
เป็นลูกน้ององค์กรกุหลาบน้ำทั้งหมด
They changed into plain clothes and came to the opera house as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself.
เลือกหลบหนีไปคนเดียวแล้วไปแอบที่เมืองพอซอน
So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
บ้านนั้นก็เป็นกล่องมายากลนี่หว่า
That's right. That house was a magic box rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Araneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome.
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off.
เอาหุ่นมาขนบ้านเลย
We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch.
Yes, that is.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage.
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson.
ก็เราก็เนียนคุยกับปูเรียนาไปยาวๆ ไม่สังเกตเห็นแผนการของพวกนี้
You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
Oh?
It's fine. It matters not. What's the stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the...
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
สมุดความทรงจ
You defeated the Hydro, a Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I've been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the oratories. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers.
นาเวียก็พลัดตกลงไปน้ำทะเลซึ่งมีน้ำทะเลบาดพาการปนเปื้อนอยู่แต่สุดท้ายก็รอดพ้นจากการถูกละลายเพราะได้รับการปกป้องจากสมาชิกองค์กรกุหลาบน้ำ
The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. But just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant, and of course, it is only natural for...
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
เอาล่ะเราไม่ใบ้อีกต่อไปแล้ว เรามีบทพูดสักที
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Fauchelor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
ไม่เกี่ยวข้องไม่เกี่ยวข้อง
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervalet?
มนุษย์ต้องคำสาป
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this...
That doesn't sound right.
ไม่ใช่
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decision...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought...
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and...
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty.
The real Hydro Arc are really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives.
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power?
หยาบละ
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's
Hey, come now, everyone. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? Please?
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, no...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument.
Hmm. ไม่น่าใช่มั้ง
It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Mr. Chief Justice. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago. Including... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse.
น้ำทะเลบนประการปนเปื้อน
Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rosula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
แต่น้ำทะเลบนประการจะละลายเปล่านะ
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon!
Miss Siegewing? If you are present, Miss Siegewing, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewing? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewing.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
ได้รับผลกระทบจากน้ำทะเลบนประการในระดับเดียวกันกับที่มนุษย์ธรรมดาสัมผัสมีความเข้มข้นต่อกัน
Thank you, Miss Siegewing. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved!
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an... It's a great thing that the direct sample was...
I can't believe... Listen to me, everyone! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that it also, if
แต่ละคน
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
ฟังไม่ขึ้นละ
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think they're...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway Angel is too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty.
เอาล่ะ มีความผิด
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
อ๋อ มีความผิดเหมือนกัน
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
อ๋อ โทษประหารเลย
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it!
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
อ๋อนำแผ่นหินแผ่นหนึ่งขึ้นมา
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
โอ้ให้ไปหาใต้น้ำเลย
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
เปลี่ยนเราโอเชียนนี้ให้กลายเป็นมนุษย์
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
เทพแห่งน้ำเปลี่ยนโอเชียนนิดให้กลายเป็นมนุษย์ แล้วพอมนุษย์โดนน้ำทาริบันประกันก็กลายเป็นโอเชียนนิดประมาณนั้นมั้ง
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates.
อืม
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But this must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing?
เปลี่ยนโอเชียนิดเป็นมนุษย์แล้วก็เซเลเซียลงโทษ
The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. Huh. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And this might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
เปลี่ยนโอเชียนิดละลายเป็นในน้ำทะเลพันประการและกลายเป็นโอเชียนิดเซเลสเทีย
that doesn't sound quite... That doesn't sound quite...
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilet mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
โทษที่ไม่เคยมีในศาลพิพากษากับกลายเป็นข้อหาของเทพแห่งน้ำและมันเป็นความผิดแบบไหนกันนะถึงได้ถูกตัดสินแบบนี้
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. ร้องไห้อยู่บนบัลลังก์ A prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay.
อยากให้นาเวียอยู่ที่นั่นกลายเป็นโอเชียนิดตลอดไป
The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
เล่นคดีสืบสวนกันนี่ละ
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vache dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
กลายเป็นโอเซียนิดหมดเลย
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission.
การสร้างมนุษย์ขึ้นมาโดยพละการทำให้เซเลสเทียขุ่นเคือง
That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Oh, did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was up. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within.
ดูวิลเลนล้อโชว์เทพอีกแล้ว
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids.
พอสัมพันธ์น้ำทะเลบนประกันกลายเป็นโอเซียนิด
Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race.
ไม่ได้รับอนุญาตจากกฎแห่งสวรรค์
And thus, The Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the... Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy...
เพื่อไม่ให้เรื่องราวดำเนินไปตามคำพยากรณ์
In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meropide served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that as for the root cause of the catastrophe, this eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
That doesn't sound quite right.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
วานตอนนั้นนี่
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
อ๋อใช่ ตัวเดียวกับที่ชายเคยเห็น
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rise, and once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea,
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that harbinger for buying us some time. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
เอาละเราจะเปิดดันบอสประวานตรงนี้แล้วมั้ง
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future.
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
เนาะนี่แหละ อุตส่าห์หลบสปอยในกลุ่มกับอะไรมาแล้ว นั่งดูคัดซีนดีกว่า
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too. If the heavenly principles.
กฎแห่งสวรรค์
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
เคยเป็นโอเซียนิตที่กลายเป็นมนุษย์ด้วยฝีมือของไอจีเลีย
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina.
เราที่ยืนอยู่ตรงหน้าจอตอนนี้คือความเป็นเทพนั่นแหละส่วนตัวเราที่เป็นมนุษย์เราได้ตั้งชื่อนางว่าฟูริน่า
She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her.
เลยไล่คำสาปใส่
All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy, under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her. It's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all.
ถึงคัดซีนประหารยังวะเนี่ย โอ้ยแอบเศร้าเลยเนี่ยเนื้อเรื่อง
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but all right, it is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Can't see? I'll uproot you!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
I will have order. One with the force. Shine down.
Oh, ตัวทองฉากที่หนึ่งหน้ากระจกข้ามก็ไม่ได้ซะด้วยสิ
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad.
Mirror me?
The prophecy. Have you heard?
What prophecy? The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Arc.
Oh, very good.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
Oh, don't worry. I will tell you how to save everyone, but...
Oh, as for the suffering, well, but if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all...
You truly are the perfect human. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of
But how will I do this?
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, remember, Your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity.
So, how long am...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for but I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial.
A trial? Huh.
วิ่งก็ไม่ได้เลยนะเดินช้า
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to most... Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. As the god Fosalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Right. Mirmi said that I just need to calm down, Farina. Think assertive, with a strong sense of presence. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house. Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking. I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, no, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of justice, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. There is no trouble in this world that so long as I, the...
ๆแบกรับภาระอยู่คนเดียวแบบน่าสงสารมากนี่มันลงปลาก่อน
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as...
Come now, was I not just at the opera house in person? Besides, none...
if I may be...
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous...
That's true, I fear I lack the ability...
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties.
วิ่งก็ไม่ได้
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say.
No need to thank me. All right. Deuteria, is it?
He is doing much better now. You're such a...
ฟูลิน่ากันละคร
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, all manner of signs indicate.
Well, as I...
Really? Have they...
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus.
Is that... The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. Maybe this is fine.
ยังไม่จบอีกเนี่ย
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the...
They'll be...
Lady Farina, I've...
Indeed, my dear.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. Keep... I don't think I let anything slip today. I just don't know when these days will end.
แอบน่าสงสารทำอย่างนี้ซ้ำๆมาเป็น500 ปีแล้วมั้งเนี่ย
I feel utterly exhausted.
โอ้โห
Lady Farina, it's... I've heard that the first member of our family...
And what about...
my lady?
นางแบกรับอย่างนี้มา500 ปีเลย
What is it? Good.
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the...
No wonder.
แกล้งแสดงให้สุดเลย
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined. Have I reached my limit? I want to tell someone. And I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. All I can do is keep heart. I must.
โอ้โห ฉากที่108,000เลยแล้ว
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me.
A witness. And if Tevat is in its entirety, she's right. I could confide in her,
But if things don't play out as expected, no, Farina. But what if, Farina, is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until...
Fine.
จบฉากนี้แล้ว
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine.
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you. Hidden.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
โอ้ยไม่เครื่องจักรไว้สังหารเทพแห่งความยุติธรรม
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed.
ร้องไห้แล้วเนี่ยร้องไห้ไปดูไป
I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this death sentence.
It was all part of your plan then? Both the...
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratrice. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon.
ผู้ที่ต้องโทษประหารชีวิตไม่ใช่ฟูลิน่าและก็ไม่ใช่โฟคาเลอร์แต่เป็นเทพแห่งน้ำ
The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
นำพลังของเทพแห่งน้ำคืนให้กับมังกรธาตุน้ำแห่งดาวดวงนี้ ก็คือนิวิเลต
But
นิวิเลตเป็นมังกร
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed.
อิจิเลียขโมยพลังของทะเลมันมาการสวดกฎแห่งสวรรค์ก็ขโมยพลังของมังกรโบราณ
I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be, in other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. At this point, we, whether it be myself, Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, at last, I now understand the true purpose behind. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. You are a devious one, Fossalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
คัดซีนแล้ว
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
เศร้ามากน้ำตาไหลหมดแล้ว
Judex Nuvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
สงสารนิววิลเลตมากเลย
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast. I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordial sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal.
โอเคเราต้องไปตีวานตัวนั้น
Come
ซะ
with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
เอาล่ะเราน่าจะได้เปิดด่านวานละ
I've already done my best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the whale. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Solidify!
Illusion shattered!
Can't see?
Let's nip that in the bud. There is no escape.
Order guide! I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Stabilize!
Hey! The Temple of Wisdom! Yeah!
Can't see? I'll uproot you!
Solidify! I will have order.
อาจารย์ของชายโคตรเท่เลย
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
ถ้ามาเป็น playable character เมื่อไหร่นี่จะเปิดเลยเนี่ย ลูกศิษย์จะตบตีกับสัตว์เลี้ยงของอาจารย์
Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Hyman has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world.
เราชนะวันนั้นได้ไม่ต้องอาศัยพลังจากนอกโลก
So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time. All in all, it failed.
Miss Skirk?
The point...
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's...
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I describe him then?
The foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the visionary?
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine Doctor's part of the Hexen Circle. She's open...
Oh, so you do know that name. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-Daughter.
Wait, didn't you also mention a...
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you.
นี่เราทำเควสมา3 ชั่วโมงไม่จบเลยนะ
Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos.
แต่น่าจะใกล้แล้วมั้งเปิดดันวานละ
In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
We're saved.
The prophecy was wrong.
น่าจะจบแล้วมั้งเนี่ยใกล้แล้ว อ่านเควสมา3 ชั่วโมงมีสกิปไปบ้างแล้วเนี่ยถ้าไม่สกิปเลยอาจจะมากกว่านี้อีกมั้งเนี่ย
The soil renewed. The Spina di Rosula talks post-disaster rebuilding. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. Skyship Winglet, lunar brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute. People always call the first researcher mad, but... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia?
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoops lies in their inept. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship.
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with...
Are you sure?
Oh, this time we'll be...
อ๋อจบแล้ว น้ำตาแห่งดวงดาว อ๋อ ไอเทมเควสยังไม่จบใกล้ละ ถ้าจบมันก็ควรจะได้1 โลละยาวเหมือนกันนะเนี่ยเควส
Navia! Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a...
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represented the name. Our residents are hard at work as well.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as...
That would be fine. Thank...
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials.
Huh?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision makers.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions?
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss
I see you're the same as always. Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might... Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
Was it a good shot?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
โอ้ยจบแล้วมั้งเนี่ย
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes. Also, not to brag, but wow, you.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make.
That's a very.
In truth, Monsieur Neuvillette asked. I told him that it was best not to speak too soon.
You're right. I've got.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear.
ถ้าจบตรงนี้เราก็ได้ กลุ่มดาวนักเดินทาง กลุ่มดาวนักเดินทาง แล้วก็จบเควสสินะ ปกติอาคอนเควสจะจบที่เราได้กลุ่มดาวนักเดินทาง
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgia.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke, did you come?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke.
No need to thank me.
Of course,
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to, Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside.
Sir, please don't say.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier.
No, I just.
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet the boat that brought about a miracle. The art. Still, if I might ask.
Huh. Looks like Chef.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently.
Really? Well, then in that.
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or.
Did you really have to use the word? Well, then, two solo folks.
Is my hair messed up? Please.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to?
Ah, see.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Sure. Come on.
Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been?
Same old, as you can see.
Other than that flying ship.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through.
You're too kind, sir.
I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh?
He sure did.
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face
Oh,
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so as to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a...
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write it. All right. Last stop, the docks.
ตอนแรกว่าเควสอีเวนต์จะทำในไลฟ์แต่ว่าคงไม่เราก็ไม่ค่อยมีเวลาแบบเมื่อก่อนละอาจจะทำนอกไลฟ์ก็ได้แต่ก็นั่นแหละคิดว่าเราหลังจากจบบทที่4ฉากที่5เราคงไม่เล่นอาคอนเควสในไลฟ์แล้วคงไม่มาดองรอทำอาคอนเควสตอนไลฟ์ด้วยไปทำนอกไลฟ์แล้วก็ค่อยไปอ่านสปอยในกลุ่มเอาแบบในส่วนที่เราไม่เข้าใจนะ
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Lim.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things.
Trick a friend.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I?
Oh,
You sure are working hard to help Fermine social.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out.
Lynette, could you come over?
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got Father says that you did a great deal during the latest event.
That's all right.
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
A diplomatic gift?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson. I would agree, but I've also heard that...
So there's some reason...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself.
Isn't he real... But back to the topic.
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster...
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
อเล็กซิโอกลับมาแล้ว
Father.
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the...
Are you going to take the gnosis?
That is our duty as heart... Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. Switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future... As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right. I'll remember to return it.
วิชั่นของชายก็อยู่นี่ด้วย
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear... The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon.
You two move things about?
That's right. Funny. I guess this must be life. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte, huh? Shall we go see how Neville's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
วาร์ปไกลจังวะน่าจะใกล้จบแล้วมั้งโอ้ย ไม่ใช่นี่หานูวิลเลตกันดิ
Entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! Neverland. Paimon didn't think you were going to...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Miss... In any case, you came at a good time.
Aw, Paimon's glad... Alright, let's have it then.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it...
เพื่อช่วยให้ฟูริน่าแสดงละคร
So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign.
โฟคัลเลอร์ทำลายบัลลังก์ของเทพแห่งน้ำเพื่อคืนบัลลังก์ให้นูวิเลตเพื่อคืนพลังให้นูวิเลตและนูวิเลตก็เป็นราชามังกรน้ำ
But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element.
พลังแห่งมังกรโบราณคือพลังการควบคุมธาตุน้ำโดยสมบูรณ์
Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
ชาวฟอนเทนได้กลายเป็นมนุษย์ที่แท้จริงซึ่งแน่นอนพวกเขาจะไม่ละลายไปกับน้ำสลีพันประกาศ
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too.
โฟคัลเลอร์อยากจะทำความปรารถนาของเทพน้ำมังกรอยากจะเปลี่ยนโอเชียนิดเป็นมนุษย์ได้อย่างแท้จริง
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. And the hang on a second. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed
Life has always flowed like water.
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the water...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it...
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more. As such, it has lost all. If the Fatui have impure designs, we might as well accede to their request now.
โนซิตก็ไม่มีความจำเป็นนูวิเลตก็ไม่ต้องการโนซิตละ
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
เตรียมตัวไปนัดลัน
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
นัดลันเป็นอาณาจักรมังกร
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame.
อ๋อเป็นไฟสงครามไม่มีวันดับหมด
There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that the harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
The captain...
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards gift, we guessed that there might be some reason.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence. So regarding this specific issue, I would... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
คุยกับสเกิร์กไว้เว้ยคัดซีนอีกเปล่าวะเนี่ย
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, all right, Nervalet?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference.
อยากให้สเกิร์กมาเป็น playable character จังสงสัยเราได้รอเปิดแน่
I can finally catch the scent of your power. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to... Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all...
What do you mean?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. If you're interested, though, I could ask him.
Next time. You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
ก็สองคนนี้ก็คุยกัน แล้วส่งเราขึ้นไปก่อน
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are.
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is...
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here. I guess that you might already be familiar with this concept. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender.
โนซิที่เขากันได้ดีกับธาตุและสามารถเพิ่มพลังธาตุได้มีต้นกำเนิดจากผู้มายังนุสิสา
I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. No, let's not think comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all. That's what you say, but this topic still feels... Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems...
Yes. All...
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human.
I I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
จบแล้วบทที่ 4 ฉากที่ 5เอาเป็นว่าไอ้เควสในเรื่องอีเวนต์เดี๋ยวเราค่อยไปทำนอกไลฟ์แล้วขี้เกียจทำในไลฟ์แล้วเหล็ก4 วัน 20 ชั่วโมงต้องรีบปั่นละตอนนี้คงทำไม่ได้เดี๋ยวค่อยเลิกงานอีกวันหนึ่งก่อนแล้วก็เหลือเปิดกาชาก่อนลงสตรีมก็ได้วะ2 โลนะจัดไป1 2 3 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12ก็65 โลนับจากได้ฟูลีน่าหลังจากนี้เราคงดองแล้วล่ะไม่กล้าเปิดต่อละกลัวดาวเอาเป็นว่าเราลงสตรีมแล้วไว้เจอกันใหม่สวัสดีครับ